We're going to talk about an exercise in CAGED. CAGED is the most basic way to visualize major chords on the guitar. And I'm going to show you how to use it to build major sevens and dominant arpeggios in a way that you can remember and retain them. The advantage of using CAGED is that you can attach new information to the most basic information on guitar. So let's start with what CAGED is. CAGED is a system where you take the basic shapes for open chords, the first thing that a little girl learns on guitar. So C, A, G, E, D. All right. Now, exercise 1 is to be able to put that into one key. What does that mean? Well, here's a C-shaped C, and then we spell out CAGED. A, G, E, and D. So in the key of C, if I just follow that pattern of CAGED, it doesn't mean you're in a cage, it's just a sequence of the way that the arpeggios appear. If we do it in the key of E, you're gonna have an E-shaped E, then a D-shaped E, a C-shaped E, an A-shaped E, and a G-shaped E. Just a little note on the shapes themselves. The D shape, right? Let's put it in E. This thing, you really want to visualize it on 6 strings. So you can add that note right here. And that note on top, you can maybe give it up here and put it on the bottom string. So that G sharp on the bottom instead, you have this. That might be a fuller way to explain that shape to yourself. That next C shape is no problem. You can add those G sharps in the bottom here. A shape is no problem. And the G shape is a little bit awkward and stretchy, and there are 2 ways to play it. You can either play it like this or like this. It's not really a shape you need to play as a chord. It's more of an area of the guitar. So exercise 1 would be to just pick a key and maybe go through a few keys and just do it all the way as chords from the bottom to the top of the guitar. Let's take a G. Here's a G, G-shaped G, E-shaped G, D-shaped G, C-shaped G, A-shaped G. Cool. Maybe I'm gonna take D flat. Here's a C-shaped D flat, A-shaped, G-shaped, E-shaped, D-shaped. That's the idea. I just take these arpeggios or these chord shapes up the neck. Here's where it gets a little more interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a 7th to these shapes. Let's just think about it in C for a second. So now I'm turning each one of these shapes into a major 7 shape. And there are a few ways to play it as chords, but there's one arpeggio that really stays true to the shapes. So let's start here on this A-shaped C. To make it a major 7, here's a very popular way to play that chord. And to play the arpeggio, you have this. That's sort of easy to remember, right? Because it's right around that shape. I'm just adding B's to those notes, right? I have a G, B, C, E, G, B, C, E, G, B. Cool. Now, that's around this shape. Now, I have the next shape, a G shape for the C. What's a good shape here? Check this one out. Aha. And this has this shape hidden in it. Very nice. Here's this E-shaped C. What's a good shape here? How about this one? This major 7 shape is hidden right there. How about a D shape? This guy, right? Or this. Right here. This is probably the least used one, but I really like it. You got this first inversion C major sound. And finally, this C-shaped C turns into this closed position C, and you have this arpeggio. So I'm attaching all of my arpeggio information to this caged information, and I have 5 unique shapes for my arpeggios that really get me all the way through the neck. One thing you really want to make sure you do not do is play the arpeggios from the bottom to the top and vice versa. That's fine, but that's not really how you play it in a musical context. What you really want to do is be able to start on any note, on any string of the shape. So when I'm practicing playing over this C major 7, I just choose a note in it. Let's say the note on the B string, and that's just my starting point. Cool, and I don't have to play all the way down, all the way up. Maybe a note on the D string. That way, I have the freedom inside the arpeggio to start wherever I want. This G shape. That's cool, that's enough. How about starting on the D string? So that's sort of what I'm doing with this, right? And this is the way you should practice from the get-go, to where you don't learn it as a lick, and then that's all you got. Cool, let's explore a few more shapes built around this caged idea. So if this is where my major 7 is, this is where my dominant 7 is. So I'm taking that major 7 and I'm lowering it by a half step. But I'm still building all of my arpeggio shapes around these areas. So the first one I have is around the A shape. I have this. Slowly. And this corresponds maybe with this shape for C7 and this shape. It's all in there. The next shape, around this G-shaped C, I have this. I have this. And the arpeggio shape is this. It's right there. This E-shaped C, well, this is the classic. And I have this. How about this D shape right here? Well, I got this classic one, the Bob Dylan right here. Right, the Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. And I have this shape right there. How about this C shape? This one I have to compensate a little bit because of how the note is laid out on the B string. So here's my major 7. My dominant 7, if I want to keep it on the B string, would be very stretchy. So I just move it here. And I have this classic funk C7 right there in my C shape. And I have this arpeggio. Now putting it all together, right? A shape, G shape, E shape, D shape, and then the C shape. Pretty cool. So the final exercise that you probably want to take away from this is putting all this information into one key. So we learned the shapes for 2 kinds of chords, major 7s and dominant 7s. And when I'm looking at a key, let's say the key of C, I have a 1 major 7, which is C major 7, a 4 major 7, which is F major 7, and then a 5 dominant, which is G7. But we sort of went through all of the shapes, and now we can see how they overlap in each area of the neck. Let's say I'm playing on a 1, 4, 5, meaning C major 7, F major 7, G7. But I want to put them all in one area of the neck at a time. So here's my 1 chord, C major, arpeggio. Here's my 4 chord, the D shape F, arpeggio. Here's my 5 chord, G7 with an E shape. Back to 1. So that'll be one of the 5 areas. Now I go forward. I have my G-shaped C to my C-shaped F to my D-shaped G, G7. Back to my G-shaped C. My E-shaped C. My A-shaped F. My G7 with a C shape. Back to that E-shaped C. Next shape, I have this D-shaped C. And then I'm gonna go to this G-shaped F. And then from here, this A-shaped G7 to the D-shaped C. Cool. Last one, C-shaped C. To that E-shaped F. To that G-shaped G7. Back to that C major. So this is a really good way to organize and finally remember all the major type arpeggios on the guitar neck. I hope this helped. Please subscribe to our YouTube, press the like, join our Patreon, leave a comment, click the bell thing, and we'll see you next time. We have a ton of content coming out, so please make sure you come back to this channel. See you soon.